What's up, everybody? Chase Haynes here, and today we're going to talk about your first Python virtual environment. We're going to talk about what it is, why we use it, and also how we can use it. With that being said, let's dive in. Now let's learn what a venv is. So what is a venv? A venv is a short for virtual environment. It is a tool commonly used in Python programming to create isolated and self-contained environments for Python projects. These virtual environments allow you to manage dependencies and packages for different projects separately, preventing conflicts between packages and ensuring that your project can run with specific versions of libraries it requires. Why do we use a venv? Three important factors. First one, isolation. Each virtual environment is separate from your system's Python installation and other virtual environments. This isolation ensures that changes made in one environment do not affect others or the system-wide Python installation. Second point, dependency management. You can install and manage specific versions of Python packages and libraries for a particular project. This is crucial when different projects require different versions of the same library. And lastly, portability. Virtual environments can be easily copied or shared with others, making it easier to reproduce the same environment on different machines. And how can we use a virtual environment? So firstly, we want to create a venv, right? Where can we do that and how can we do that? So I'm going to be running through three different places that we can do this. So we have VSC, this is a downloaded application, PyCharm, which is also a downloaded application, and lastly, terminal or command prompt for Windows users. And this comes with your operating system when you get it out of the package. With that being said, let's get into it. Okay, great. So we're going to start with Visual Studio Code. You can see that I've already created my folder within my GitHub pathway. I called it venv-project. You can name it whatever you'd like, but just make sure to create that folder so you're inside of it. So then from here, we're going to go to the top. We see terminal. Going to do new terminal. Going to pop up down here, and then we're going to make sure that we have Python installed. So brew install Python. I already have the most up-to-date Python installed. We are all set, right? So from here, we're going to actually start to build our virtual environment. What we're going to do is we're going to type in Python 3 -m venv virtual environment space, and this is where you can name it. So we're just going to name it my_env. We're going to enter that in. Great. So now we are in the venv project still when we set this up. And so from here, we are now going to type source my env /bin, and then activate. And look at that. There we go. We are now in your virtual environment, right? We named it my env. So at this point, we could do whatever you want, type whatever you want. You know, the world's your oyster. So what happens when you're done with it though, right? You know, you want to get out of it. Because that's what you're going to have to do, right? This is something that took me a while to understand, right? You activate your virtual environment, and then when you're done with your work, you make sure that you want to deactivate it, right? So with that being said, I already said the keyword. What we're going to do is we are going to hit deactivate. And like I said, this took me a while to understand, but you have to activate. Think about it like this: activate, work, deactivate. Deactivate. Now we are out of our virtual environment. Then we can type exit. Then it pops us out, and here we go. Now we have bin, you know, what our Python is, a bunch of information. And this is how you create a venv on Visual Studio Code. So let's do the same thing now in Visual Studio Code, but in PyCharm. We're going to go to the top right, hit new project. And from here, it's a lot quicker and it's a lot more efficient. So we have location, right? I named it venv-project. our new environment using, make sure this is virtual env, right? Our location, PyCharm projects, venv project, virtual environment. And this is our base interpreter. Different projects are going to require different bases for Python. We can stick with Python 3.11. And then from there, you're all set up. This section 2, create a main.py welcome script. Nothing crazy, but just leave that checked as well. And all we do is create. And there we go. It does all the work for you, right? We didn't have to type compared to Visual Studio Code. All we did was just kind of pick what we want, what our base interpreter was, and it sets it up for us, which is great. And if you see my previous videos, right, this is just the, the entrance to PyCharm. And lastly, we're going to set up a venv through terminal. For Windows user, it's going to be command prompt, but of course running through Mac. So open up terminal. So from here, it's just like how we set it up in Visual Studio Code. So we've already made sure that we have Python installed, right? So for me, I have 3.11. And so from here now, I'm going to paste this in, right? I already have it. We're going to do Python 3-m venv my_env, right? Very similar to what we worked on with Visual Studio Code. We're going to enter that in, right? There we go. And then from here, we're going to type in source my_env. Make sure it matches up. Then we're going to do bin, and then another /, and then we're going to do activate. And there we have it. We are in our virtual environment on terminal. Just like Visual Studio Code, when you're done, we are going to type deactivate. Look at that, and we're out. And like I said, make sure you remember, when you start work, you activate, work, then deactivate. Hit exit, saving session, process completed, and we're done. And this is how you set up a virtual environment on terminal. If you liked what you saw, hit that thumbs up and also hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much and have a great day.